reopen the Village of Bronxville's Board of Trustee meeting for February 9th, 2026, and ask all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, and we will start with the mayor's report and just some items to update everyone to share. Tonight, right now, the school is having the most wonderful Hearts for Arts, and it's the Art Council at the school at the movie theater. And our wonderful movie theater has everyone in there. And I went down, and I think the art's going to stay up, and it's extraordinary. It's grades K through 12, and the AP art is unbelievable. It's if you can get to see the art at the theater, I really think it's well worth it. Also at the theater, it's Black History Month, so every Monday night at 7 o'clock, they are showing a movie that focuses on Black history. And I believe they're free. Other events in chronological order. And what I do is give what's going on in the community before our next board meeting. So we can give these folks a little PR. The other night it was wonderful. Iona had a Bronxville night at their basketball game, and they gave out free tickets. Place was packed with Bronxville families. And they did the most extraordinary thing. They made a sign, go Gales, and on the back was the names of all of the Bronxville businesses. And then they allowed the businesses to all have little tables out in the hallway. And it really, I know the adult school was there, a bunch of our businesses. It was just a really nice night at Iona, but they lost. But the 26th is the Historical Conservancy's lecture. It's going to be at Sarah Lawrence College, and it's the author of 1929 and Too Big to Fail, Andrew Sorkin, and you do have to register because they usually do sell out. 27th is the Bundles of Joy benefit at the Field Club. Tickets are on sale. And wonderful cooperation. We now are very involved in the junior committee of the community fund. And they've connected with our police department. They're going to do a paddle tournament on February 28th. And they're also planning for March Madness a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And the police department committed to fielding a team. And I committed Thomas and Marianne to field a team for the village. So get practicing. Anyway, they're a great group of kids, and they want to get more involved in the village and with the PD, and I think that's extraordinary. The library just had a little ceremony. Senator Shelley Mayer got the library, thanks to our director, Greg, a $75,000 grant. Is that correct, the right
Yes.
amount? Do I have the right amount? And we just thank the senator for that. I think we've had such good luck with grants, especially flood related, but I decided Mr. Palmer gets to announce those because you did all the legwork on that. So you deserve the accolades. Also our wonderful adult school, you can sign up for classes. I'm taking calligraphy because I just love the school. So I want to put in a plug for the adult school. Oh, you're taking watercolor. Okay. So we're going to have two artistes up here. And I think that's all I have. Trustees, what did I miss before I hand it over to Jim?
I think you might just want to mention the Martin Luther King Day breakfast at the Reformed Church. The Reformed Church for, I guess, a number of years has hosted the event free of charge and has provided the food for the breakfast. So all the money that's paid to participants goes to the ECAP and
And the Rotary actually, our wonderful Rotary actually provided the food, and the church
let me
gives.
pass it back
Yes,
to you. Other than I think the Reformed Church was one of their honorees this year.
Yes, it was
recognizing their work.
packed house, and the Reformed Church, they used to have it at Lake Isle, and the cost of the ticket versus how much they made. I actually sit on that board, and the Reformed Church stepped up, offered the space, and then our incredible Rotary covers the cost of the food. So everything they make is profit, and it goes right back to the kids in Tuckahoe for the after-school program. So it's really special. And I'm so glad you mentioned that. And they did honor the church, and the church was thrilled. No, mention that. I thought you might.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on March 3rd at 7 p.m., the Green Committee is sponsoring an event at the public library. It's called How Healthy is Your Yard? Simple Steps to Biodiversity and Beauty. So this really is the year of healthy yards, trying to keep up our great landscaping, but reducing the amount of pesticides and trying to use more native plants. So it should be a really great program. They have two really good experts coming to speak. So it's a free event on March 3rd.
And I love something they put in. They said it's not about mowing and blowing. And I thought that's such a good, there's so much more to having a nice property. Yeah.
Mayor, can I make a plug for our newsletter?
Yes.
Since we have so many people in the audience that we don't usually get. We publish a monthly newsletter, except for the month of August, but other 11 months out of the year, the village trustees and the village administrators publish a newsletter. We'd love for you to sign up for it. It tells what's going on during our meetings here, what's going on in the village, and it gives you an idea of what's coming up, what we did last month and what we're doing this month, and just gives people updates on things that might not be in my hometown, Bronxville. So we encourage you to go to our website and sign up for the newsletter. It comes in an email, and if you want to read it, great. If you don't, you can also ignore it. But to be on our email list, that would be fantastic. There's a lot of great information in there.
It is. It is.
And just finally, and Mayor, thank you for plugging this in various forums. Again, because there are a lot of people in the audience, the village has created a tree planting policy to allow residents who are interested in planting a tree in the right of way adjacent to their properties to subsidize the planting of new trees. We've lost a lot of trees in the village. We all complain when we see a big old tree come down, whether through age or disease. It takes a vision to plant a new tree, but call Thomas Morzello. He's there in the back of the room, our assistant village administrator, or go to the village website. If you think you want to suggest to a neighbor that, hey, wouldn't a new oak or maple or sycamore or hickory, look great on your street or in front of your own property, go to the website, call Thomas. He'll try to make the process as easy as possible for you. It's a great initiative.
And we had someone write to us, and this is for everybody in the community. If you live in an apartment, a co-op, a condo, and you think there's a spot near where you live, we're going to put the trees wherever they're needed, because it really is kind of sad when you look at pictures that are 50 and 60 years old and see some of our streets that had complete canopies, and we've got to start bringing them back. So this program is really great, and I think we're going to have a big ceremony around Arbor Day to jumpstart everything as well. Okay. Anything else? No? All right. Then it's to you, our village administrator.
Okay, I'll try to be fast. Just following up on Trustee Frederick's comments. Again, if you're interested in having a tree in your front yard, front of your property, side yard, facing another street, simply call us or email us. We'd be happy to do a site visit to take a look at it and determine where we could find the right placement and do the correct markouts to put a beautiful tree in the spring. We have a whole list of the types of trees, native species, that will work for the different neighborhoods that are consistent with the village's tree planting program. We'll make it real simple for you, though. We'll go out and do a site visit. We've lost, as the mayor and trustee president, we've lost a lot of trees over the past decade from storms. So a lot of those locations are already very fresh in my mind, but we can work with you to find that particular location. Just want to mention that. In the middle of winter, just wanted to follow up, thank everyone for everyone's efforts and patience while the DPW continues to clear corners, handicap ramps, crosswalks, as a result of the snowstorm earlier this month. Again, some of this is somewhat redundant if you get the newsletter, but the village did declare a snow emergency. When the village declares a snow emergency, that means the existing parking rules and regulations set forth in the code are temporarily suspended while we follow the details of the snow event and then amend parking accordingly. And we did that and provided guidance on when everyone needed to have their cars off the street or where they could park. So I think overall, it was really impressive to see how many cars did adhere. Residents are getting the message that did remove their cars, especially on areas like Sagamore, which is just very dense. The earlier we can get the cars off and the DPW can start pushing the snow back is very important. So the DPW is out back very early after midnight. We know, again, somewhat of an inconvenience, but they come in at midnight the following nights because there's just some snow removal that they cannot do during the day that will just cause more chaos. But we know in dense areas like Sagamore, it can sometimes be problematic. But just wanted to thank everyone's patience and remind everyone, look out in front of your house when the snow melts. And if you have a sidewalk, please just do your best to make it safe for pedestrians, because people do come into my office screaming that they can't walk up a sidewalk, and it's your responsibility. And if the village has to go out and clear your area, we don't want to, because we're trying to use DPW resources elsewhere, but we will need to bill you and also take you or your tenants to court. Just wanted to update you on a couple quick projects. The DeWitt Bridge from the DeWitt Bridge from Paxton Avenue that goes up and over the Springbrook Parkway to Yonkers, that's owned by the state of New York. That's been worked on for the past few years, is getting close to reopening in full as they finish up the lighting. Don't want to give a date, but the state has been keeping us informed, and it should be in the next few weeks. So that should be restored by early March. If you go to the village website or the newsletter, we do update that the state, which is been planning crosswalk improvements in the intersection of 22 and Palmfield Road for over a decade now, have expressed that that project has, for the crosswalk and the pedestrian improvements, including handicap ramps, some curbing improvements, and pedestrian push button countdown signalization at that intersection has been put out to bid, and might actually start before be completed before the end of 2026. Feel free to email me if you'd like more details. We've been working with all the owners on all those corners and getting their input, and there's been some tweaks to pole locations to minimize visual impacts. There's going to be some additional striping, though, also to highlight the curbing to help make it safer. So should be positive. Also, just wanted to mention that everyone should look and read for a project that's called Propel New York, Propel, Propel New York. The Journal News actually did an excellent article, a good article this past week, explaining the reasons behind utility increases. And they did actually briefly mention this project, which you'll be hearing more about, since it's a 4-year plan, but it involves a new transmission line that's to be installed across Long Island Sound into Westchester. What that means for the village of Bronxville is that a new electric line, transmission line, will be installed within the right-of-way, mostly in State Route 22, but also a portion of it coming down Pondfield and New Rochelle Road. Again, it's Propel New York. Thomas will make sure we put that information on the website. A lot more outreach will be coming. It's a large project, but in part to fill that void and the need for increased electrical demand. So that line will be going across Long Island Sound into New Rochelle, up through Eastchester, up New Rochelle Road, where it'll then enter the village, make a left turn, continue down Pondfield to where it'll then go up 22, the entire length of 22, into the village of Tuckahoe. So it's a large project, and we are working with the state to make sure that Route 22 gets repaved in its entirety from curb to curb, because Route 22 is not a village road, but we apologize for the condition of that road.
Well, if they tear it up, will we know?
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Just as the mayor mentioned, on our village website, we do update the various drainage projects that have been ongoing. The board did, at the last meeting, did recognize and accepted the execution of an IMA with Westchester County for Westchester County's contribution of just under $3 million towards the Crawford drainage improvement projects. Quite significant. The county agreed to those minor changes that council had recommended, just waiting for a clean copy back. So that's progress. And then most recently, we just found out that Congressman George Latimer and the House of Representatives have approved an additional $1.2 million to go towards that drainage project. And thanks to Thomas for following up on submitting the follow-up documentations to his chief of staff. So again, more on these projects as we work to get all those documents compiled, but very positive news on the drainage front. And then likewise, also for our ongoing efforts to address the flooding down along Paxton Avenue, following 2 years worth of discussions with, 2+ years with FEMA following the 2023, September 29, 2023 flooding event. FEMA has committed up to $2 million in programs there. So our next step there is to follow up with Westchester County to get their support. As you can probably imagine, anything near the Bronx River has a complex level of approvals, just as we had with the school project, but we are following through with it, and always seeking that and obtaining that funding is an important part of that. So thank you, Mayor, for
That's
mentioning
an
that.
extraordinary amount of funding.
It's extraordinary.
So you should really take a moment to
Yeah,
thank
here.
everybody who was involved in getting those grants, because that is serious money.
Yep, very positive.
Another great
Yep.
one. Thank you, Jim.
I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, with the thanks to everybody, starting with the man at the end of the table down there, James Palmer.
All a team effort, remember, including obviously your guidance on all of this. Thank you.
Okay, and now I think we just have the approval of some sets of minutes. It's from the executive session, the work session, and the regular meeting of January 12th, 2026. Do I have a motion? And a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Marion, thank you very much. They're terrific, as usual. Now, before we go on to our agenda, there's so many of you here tonight who might want to go home and have dinner. So we're going to flip the script and not have you wait until the end of our board meeting. Just respecting your time tonight. So anyone can come up to the microphone if you just give your name, address, try to stay within 3 minutes, and you may talk on, speak to us on anything. And we will probably listen to everybody before perhaps we say something in return. Just let you speak to us. So anyone is welcome. Thank you.
William Bornman, 30 Tanglewild, 20-year resident and parent. I discovered the school board has not told the truth publicly, first regarding the length and depth of their interactions with Musco Sports Lighting. The board repeatedly said preliminary, yet it is actually 10 years, confirmed by 2 calls in January that I made to the board's Musco reps, Don Ruda and Mike Moriates. Second, their fake news need for varsity and JV late afternoon field access, conveniently forgetting about before school mornings and why not during gym or free periods. The board has a $2 million private stadium lights funder who regularly shouts from the sidelines at the fall club football team practice that eats up our precious daylight field time every day at 5 p.m. This man has given financial support and supplied bling for not school affiliated club teams, the real source of the need. To support board denials, can a guy with too much money buy Bronxville sports and buy the school board? How much school board time has been wasted on their lights agenda when they should be finding real practical solutions, policing field schedules, coordinating transportation, and lining up and training referees? How hard is that? How about taking back the free to us handle field time for varsity and JV? Surely our 1/3 of Eastchester taxes buys more than a couple hours one day per week. What district funds have already secretly been spent on the lights agenda? What future discretionary spending line items would be diverted from the school's fat budget? What would 6 15-foot deep scoping studies into the floodplain fields cost? Our fields are built on pond landfill. The water table is high, confirmed by child field digger Eddie Lennon on record. The underground river, listen to this. No, it's not working. Anyway, the underground river below the fields alone should kill 90-foot poles with 15-foot deep foundations. Google stadium lighting poles fall over and watch the videos. What does 90 and 70-foot pole liability insurance cost? And what would the school board, and would the school board get it or pretend to by omission? Like their missing flood insurance that added a free $500,000 to the 2021 and after budgets. Is it time for an audit? Last Thursday, Superintendent Rachel Kelly pushed for a school tax override increase. Here's one thought about a money and tax generating high dollar core business in town, $200,000 per recent sale. It's real estate. At our library in November, I heard 3 school board members sit together as a unified front and speak publicly for the stadium lights. I discovered that one is married to the top real estate agent at Bronxville's biggest firm, Houlihan Lawrence. Per Mike Moriates at Musco Sports Lighting, husband Peter was a key contact regarding Musco's stadium lights proposal. In many disclosed documents, Peter is listed as having a key role in internal planning and vendor engagement. Doesn't school board member Peter McSherry's public and insider planning pro-lights bias hurt the business of his wife Megan, given this divisive topic which has split the town? Plummeting real estate values of 150 homes adjacent to the stadium lights is hardly good for Houlihan Lawrence business and the money that trickles down to the stores and tax base of our village. Raise taxes, Rachel, and pro-lights, Peter, this is on you. Houlihan, call them. It begs the question, does Houlihan endorse the looming dangerous 90-foot stadium lights, which will wreck the character of our centuries-old village? I'd like to hear Houlihan's stance on the stadium lights' potential $66 million real estate value destruction that will harm 150 homes health-wise and financially harm 400 resident taxpayers, harm Houlihan potential customers, and finally, harm the tax base that pays town salaries and supports village infrastructure and Main Street stores, including Mr. Underhill's lovely restaurant. That's $3.3 million potential commission revenue flushed down the toilet. Negative publicity is never good. Viral boycotts hurt business. If Kelly is pushing for a tax increase
You're well
without,
over the 3 minutes, so could you wrap this up, please? We have a lot of people to speak here. Thank you.
Okay. Kelly again shows stadium lights bias and avoids mentioning the floodplain risk, potential damage to the $5.2 million Bronxville Village acquired FEMA money funded flood management system. Doesn't the board owe it to you, Mayor Marvin, and trustees not to jeopardize that? In theory, FEMA would come after you, not the school. Per the internet, Houlihan Lawrence participated in 69% of Bronxville real estate sales in 2024. Houlihan Lawrence and top earner Megan McSherry, you both have a chance to keep your thrones and step up and say stadium lights are bad for everyone's taxes, bad for real estate, bad for your business, bad for Bronxville. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to, on any topic?
Hi, I'm Gretchen Pingle, and I live on 166 Midland. I was hoping, because the issue of flooding at the school is a concern on the fields and the idea of constructing on it. And I kind of was hoping you all could give some clarity to me if whether that's considered a floodplain or not, because there's been some writing regarding on the New York State Department of Education regarding floodplains and how it's to be managed by the municipal government, and that school boards should defer to whatever is required according to the municipality. So I'm just curious, does that fall under the purview of the flood manager's role? Anyway, that's my question.
Okay.
Clarity on that. So you don't have to answer the second, but that's what I'm curious about.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I will say that we're doing a lot of due diligence on figuring out what our role is in terms of studying all the case law. There has been some recent cases, one up near Albany, one in Long Island, which have seemed to open the door a little more for community involvement, meaning planning and zoning of the community, because in the past, it was very much a shut door as to, the schools had to obey the New York State Education Department rules. Just for example, none of the additions at the school came over to the village hall for our approval or even our look, and they didn't legally have to give it to us. And so they did not, but we are doing our homework to prepare for what our role might be, given, frankly, we're the stewards of this entire village and what affects everyone, and what happens at the school affects beyond school property is my opinion. Where we are right now is there are no documents out there for us to opine on. So we're in a situation of no plans, that's right, that's important, not documents. So we're sitting here, it's a hypothetical right now, but we're kind of educating ourselves, getting ourselves prepared to if, when, and how we legally interject the village's stance or role vis-a-vis the school. And I'm hoping we'll get some clarity at the end of the month at the school board meeting. That's kind of what we're doing our homework, but I'm anxious to see what happens. I think it's in another 2 weeks. They have a school board meeting.
Well, that's just really reassuring, because so many of the people here, as you know, are concerned. So that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, we're very carefully looking at things. And, there's a really dreadful case on Long Island where they put up a fence that doesn't meet, they fenced around a whole school, and the fence is higher than what the village code is is that in Williston? Didn't I read that case? East Williston, I read. I don't sleep much, so I read these. But they're 6 years in litigation. And I mean, I don't even want to guess how many millions and millions of dollars that has cost. So we've got to do this, whatever we do, we have to do our role correctly. And all I can say is we really are doing our homework. Yeah. Anyone else? Yes. Hello, doctor. How are you?
Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to us again. It's been really amazing these last couple months. My name is Beth Marr, by the way. I live at 15 Field Court. I always forget to introduce myself. So it just brought to mind a little bit about the collateral damage when some of these projects are undertaken. I'm just curious what the village, again, you already talked about, you're going to think about what your scope of involvement would be, but it brings to mind when Chambers was, when they put the turf field in Chambers, there was drilling that was incredibly loud and incredibly invasive. And I had a relatively new kitchen at 15 Field Court, and everything is an inch, 3/4 of an inch off because of the drilling moved everything in my kitchen. I never sued the town. I never did anything with the school, but I don't know how much drilling might be involved to put these huge poles in. I'm not going to let it go a second time. And most of my neighbors, I know Holt's family has a brand new kitchen in. If everything is moved, even it's a half an inch, like the marble, nothing's straight, the walls aren't straight, everything's crooked. That was a real issue, plus the infestation of rats that happened after the disruption of the ground that took us a while to get rid of, well, not rats, mice. It took a while to get rid of the mice in our homes. So just that's something that some of us experienced, not everyone did, but I'm right there, and it was pretty terrible. So again, that's why we're asking that maybe the town would find a way that they should be here, they should hear what would a drilling plan be?
Right.
What are the collateral effects of that? How much more damage to infrastructure and, the foundations of homes is going to happen a second time? Just brought that up for future thought. Thank you.
Okay. No, you're absolutely right. And the subsurface and what they have to dig the pilings for a 90-foot pole, and what our role is on taking care of the subsurface. And, we also have to think if there's any home devaluation, the tax burden gets shifted. I mean, the tax bill is one pie. So for everybody who gets a deserved decrease in their home value, it shifts the costs onto other people. And those are village concerns. And I appreciate you giving us the heads up on, yeah. And we are looking into our role, especially on, part of it on our subsurface responsibilities.
My name is Cheryl Patafio. I live at 9 Willow Circle. And I just wanted to bring up that my daughter swam for Bronxville High School when she was here at the school. And I wondered, I'd spoken to the school board about this, that we don't have a pool. So we obviously worked with Sarah Lawrence as a collaborator, as well as New Rochelle High School, to borrow their pool. And it was a win-win situation for the swimmers, as well as for the parents that, wanted their children to swim and wanted them to swim for Bronxville High School. So we collaborated as parents and carpooled to get our children to the various places that they need to so that they could swim. And my daughter later on went on to a Division I swim school. So it was a win-win for everyone around. And I just thought that because we live in a village that have like Iona College, Concordia, the old Concordia area, maybe some of the Catholic churches that no longer have the population to use their fields, maybe the village might think of collaborating with some of the Catholic schools or other partners, that maybe that money that normally would be used for the lighting could be used for transportation and the various legal issues that may come up with it. But I feel like the school, this is a recurring problem, and I don't think ignoring it, because I guess there's some children that want certain sports, but I mean, we can't go like 30 different teams, but maybe you can narrow it down to the teams that have the most population for children that want to try flag football or whatever the team might be. But I just think that the collaboration and the coaches were very helpful, and they collaborated with the school, and we were able to get a situation, like I said, like a swim team that did very well.
Thank you. And I will say, you reminded me, I did feel like at this juncture that the village did have a role as a municipality. So I brought the superintendent and the director of athletics up to Eastchester, because this gentleman is true, we pay a third of the town taxes, and I felt like we should get a third of the use of Handel Field. And we do have Monday afternoons. This gentleman's correct. They have one day up there. And I asked, and they seemed quite receptive, to give Eastchester credit to giving us more time on it's the lighted field behind Trader Joe's. And they also talked about a field up there that is underused called Dunwoody, not Yonkers, but in northern Eastchester on the Scarsdale border. So we have Eastchester in the mix, trying to, sometimes if you don't ask, you don't get. So we've done that. And then early next week, we're the same threesome. We're meeting with the county executive and the head of Westchester County Parks to see if we can get more time down in the scout fields, because again, we spent over $60,000, meaning the school and private donations, upgrading the baseball field, and which is used by a lot of other schools. So I'm sort of campaigning that Bronxville does deserve some more field time. So I'm trying to find the alternatives, and those were two that I felt like I had a role in. So I'll keep you posted, but Eastchester was very receptive, I have to say. Thank you for mentioning that, because it reminded me to share that that's what we've been doing in the past couple of weeks. Anyone? Yes, Catherine.
Hi, my name's Catherine Henschel. I live on Oriole Avenue. I want to thank you for all your work in this. I know this isn't exactly your background, but impacts of this widely across the village. Anything that happens in the village happens, everybody is affected. And I appreciate your efforts at looking at this and understanding that there is a lot of costs that residents are going to bear on this outside of the school. And I appreciate you representing the village as a whole, in addition to, we're not all school citizens. At some point you age out, and but you're still a citizen of the village, and these impacts are felt by everybody in the village. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, my philosophy has always been, we live in 1 square mile. I think we're the third densest community of 45 in Westchester County. And I really believe whatever happens in one part of the town impacts the whole square mile. I really, whether it's we fix the brick roads, try to help the people on Parkway Road with flooding, neighborhoods that need more trees than others. I think we're all one. We're small. We've got to think about and look out for our neighbors. Because we do live so close to each other, and we all knew that moving here. But at the same time, we've got to be very cognizant of what happens in our 1 square mile. So thank you. Anyone else? Michael?
My name is Michael Secondo. I live at 17 Field Court, and again, thanks for all of your attention to this and care. At a prior trustee meeting, Mayor, you've mentioned that communications, presumably residential in nature, received by the village regarding lights projects are being shared with the school district. On November 8th, I personally submitted a FOIL request to the school district for records related to the school project from January 1st, 2025 through present, which would include village district communications. I'm still sort of receiving information on a rolling basis, and based on what has been produced so far, the only correspondence between the village and the school district that I've seen is an email forwarded to the school of a change.org petition opposing the lights. With this kind of context in mind, my question is, could you share, even at a high level, the feedback that the village is receiving, trends more so in favor of or opposing the lights? Sort of like, what are you seeing? And in a sense, in the general volume of correspondence that you're sharing with the school district would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any letter, a lot of the, I would say at Village Hall, because folks who do not have children tend to reach out to the trustees because they're not as connected to the school. So we have a lot of I have a lot of verbal conversations. And I would say they're overwhelmingly negative to the lights, what comes our direction, quite honestly. And whatever emails are sent, I'm often on the email as a CC, and I try to answer everybody. But if I get an email, if it's an email form, I forward it to the school. And I would say they are very much predominantly folks, mostly, probably all almost, are non-school families who feel like they could reach out to the government because they don't have that connect to the school anymore. So, and I'll share whatever I have with you, Michael. Yeah. Anyone else? Thank you all for taking the time to come. And believe me, it's front burner for us here, and we're just trying to educate ourselves and do everything properly and correctly. Yes, Bill.
Just for informational purposes, I mean, there are a lot of people here today. It's always very gratifying to have an audience as opposed to having no one out there. But my guess is a lot of folks who are here are in spirit with the remarks of people who spoke but did not comment themselves. But I just wonder whether you could get a show of hands here of how many people were here because they're, in principle opposed to the lights versus anyone who's in favor.
Okay.
That's rather what I thought.
Yes, it looks
that's
unanimous. Yeah.
No, I mean, you're here to communicate, and so we're here, to hear you, so to speak. So
You,
thank for
and
being here.
it's entirely up to you, but maybe I could task Gretchen to have a sign up if people want to say they came to the village to register their opposition to the lights, and I will send the list over to the school. I did last time, the last meeting, I sent over anyone who felt comfortable signing, signed, and then I sent the list over to the school. And I think everybody put their name and their address. So Gretchen, that would be helpful if people would like to do that.
You want to do it, out in the hall.
Yeah, if you could.
And just speaking for myself, I grew up in the village. I'm a product of the Bronxville school. I feel like I owe a lot to the Bronxville school personally. And as a trustee, my general attitude is that, we in the village board of trustees, we kind of deal with village issues, and the school is really not something that's my job to sort of get involved with the school as a general matter. I think the village has been well served by sort of a separation at the general level between what the board does and what the school does. I mean, we don't tell them what they should be teaching, and they don't tell us what laws we should be passing. So I think that, to the extent that, I personally and perhaps other trustees aren't sort of jumping up and down on this particular issue, I think there is an appropriate amount of deference to give to a coordinate, board to let their process go through. As I say, they don't interfere in our lawmaking processes. We don't get involved in the school. But, this is, I think, as the mayor indicated, I mean, this is sort of getting into an area where I think, as the mayor has said, preliminary review and being ready to look at things is appropriate. And so I'm comfortable that the board has sort of done what it should be doing and has not been doing what it shouldn't be doing. And that's what we all try to do. But you're doing what you should be doing, which is expressing your views. And thank you for coming.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay. Thank you all for coming, and I appreciate you taking the time to come.
Anybody can stay.
Oh, you're welcome to stay.
Got some exciting.
We're talking
A
about
lot of resolutions to pass.
gutters tonight. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
Oh, no, that's, I
No.
don't know that, no. Well, it's,
Yeah.
Bronxville used to be, Bronxville used to be. Oh, it's great.
Oh,
It's Steve Palm. It's just, it's
such a
named
good
after
guy.
the former name. Bronxville was under his cross.
He lives in town. He lives in Bolton Gardens.
Yeah. 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 Yep. Yeah. We appreciate you coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Catherine, do I owe you a phone call?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk.
Oh, what's that? Anytime.
Anytime.
If you want to, yeah.
All righty. I think we're going to go on to our new business. And the first resolution is accepting the list of unpaid taxes for the 2025.
Wait, Mayor, may I just say that it's very loud, so I'm not sure people are going to be able to hear on the TV.
Hello, can you please, hello in the back, Hello, could you please move out? Thank you very much.
All right, our first resolution is accepting the list of unpaid taxes for 2025-26. And
Jim, would you be able to comment as to, so there's approximately 1.4 million to 1.5 million of unpaid. How does that compare to previous years?
Ours are the same. I think last year maybe it was, I think the treasurer said maybe closer to 1.25, so around 1.3, so a little bit less. But again, this is as of right now. And of course, as you know, the treasurer's office works tirelessly contacting all the owners to get it whittled down. But at this point in time, largely the same. Yes.
So we're contacting Lori every,
And they contact everyone.
we contact her.
yeah.
Well, did we have a tax lien sale on the first payment defaults? Because I noticed that the first payment defaults are down to like 170. The second payment defaults are 1.2.
Oh.
So in answer to Mr.
Lori, are the same people buying the liens at the auction? Do you see the same?
Yes, same. Yeah.
have the
But no
same-
one has lost property in the village. No, that's important. Yeah. Right. Right.
So do we end up selling,
Yes,
Lori, do we end up selling 100% of the properties that are left? The liens?
It's one sale.
Oh, it's one sale.
One
I
sale.
thought it went to different people.
Yeah, they all come at the same day and they bid.
Right, but all of them
They will
go.
buy them, yes.
But all of
yes,
them taken.
Yes.
That's it, that was my, yeah.
But if you were to guess, I mean, they're as Trustee Underhill said, they're like $1.4 million in outstanding. How many how many do you think would say, I mean, probably half or a third of that number? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of time consuming. It's a lot of work.
And we do reach out to people because I think the important thing is to know too, that we cannot set the penalty percentage because New York State sets, depending on if you're a month late, it's X percentage, and then as time goes by, and because, our taxes are very high, and I know people get upset at the percentage, but that's not something
That we have control over.
we have no control over the
Yes, but to
percentage.
that point, though,
Yeah.
Lori will
And-
go through each and every name on that list with the deputy treasurer and our senior bookkeeper, and this is all they will, well, in between everything else, but every day they'll work on making calls and emails, contacting the PD to get a contact with the property owner. So honestly,
Because we don't want people to owe, because we don't want you stuck with 3 and 5% penalties.
get this list down, 83 properties down to 3 or 4 is really what they're going to be doing over the course of the next month
Good.
and a half. But by law, you need to recognize the current list, and then the next resolution is just to provide that date of the lien sale by law, so that
Right.
Is there some date set by the state also?
Or is that set by us?
March 11th and March 12th, a second week.
for villages anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
So-
is set by the state because a lot of municipalities will do it on the same.
It's all on a set schedule for
All on the-
villages.
okay.
Yes.
There are some very large
Yeah.
tax bills that are outstanding. I mean, in terms of individual houses. I mean,
And the 1.3 is out of,
84,000,
what's the
65,000.
total? 60 million. Okay, I just want to say it for the public. Okay. Right, we reached out too. Okay,
This is the 5%.
yeah. Right. Well, the important thing is we're trying to reach out to the people so they avoid further penalties. I just want people to know we really,
I will move it.
all right?
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much, Lori. That's
So it's March 12th will be the date.
Well, that's the second
Oh, sorry.
resolution, so yes, first is.
And then just
second.
going along with that, we have to authorize the sale,
Yes,
which is just as
on
any.
March 12th. I'll move that.
Okay, sale will be on March 12th, and I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Yeah, Mayor, just,
Yeah.
it might be worth interjecting at this point that I and probably others on the board and probably a lot of other residents got their new assessment,
Yes.
recently. And my guess is that pretty much across the village, property values are up, and so therefore reassessments are up. But again, just to tell people who are watching on TV, the fact that your assessment has gone up is not necessarily an indication that your taxes are going up.
Right.
If everyone's
The
assessment.
votes all, rising.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully everyone's property is increasing in value, but just the fact that you've been reassessed upwards doesn't mean your taxes are going to be assessed. In fact, it's vital to have periodic assessments so that our assessment roll is accurate,
It's current.
up to date, stays current. And we've had our village assessor in beforehand to talk about what a good job actually Bronxville is doing compared to benchmarks to keep the assessments fair and equitable and up to date.
Well, a real benchmark is prior to when we did the reassessment, which was tough. We used to get 300 plus applications to grieve their taxes, and now we get about 2 dozen. And so the savings to this village just on that whole process is enormous. And I think that speaks to how fairer the role is after reassessment. Okay, do I have someone just, you did
You
that,
did it.
so we're done.
We did that,
So
yeah.
now we're down to
Capital projects, yeah.
capital, diesel fuel line improvement in DPW for $17,000. Just something, it's wear and tear, correct? And we need a
Yes.
little environmental improvement,
Yes,
is the way I understand it as well. Okay,
yes, and this will come from unassigned fund balance. Yep, 17.
okay.
17,000.
So do I have a motion to spend that money on repair of the diesel line? And a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the next item, I'm actually just going to break up into two resolutions. It's a total of 35,000, but the first one is for $18,000 for drainage improvements on the east side of the building, essentially. So again, wear and tear, replacement, new gutter on the east side, new molding that was replaced. There's the existing drain pipe is inside the brick wall, it runs all the way down. It's got cracks. Obviously, it's more cost effective to simply run a new, beautiful copper line on the outside of the building. So that's part of what we're doing.
I will move that because I see that every day in our lunchroom.
I will
so-
second it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and the second part of that, the next one is almost 18,000 again, 17,400 to anticipate in the spring when the weather improves, doing the same on the west side of the building again. Yep,
Okay, I will move.
also in the brick, useful life over.
Yeah, I will move that one as well. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Opposed? Motion passes. And then we have an add-on, don't we, tonight?
Yes, if someone wants to take that on. So the last one is a resolution that you discussed in your work session, which came in at the last minute, which is simply supporting a countywide action, countywide law, county law, if you will, on prohibiting the use of gas-powered leaf blowers during the summer months. Several communities have already signed on to this.
Are they defining summer months?
At this point, they are not. All this resolution is saying is that some 33 out of the 47 municipalities currently restrict the use of gas-powered leaf blowers. And it would be helpful if the county did some kind of ban, and what the group is recommending at this point is in the summer. And I think all the communities at a minimum prohibit the use of gas-powered blowers over the
This,
summer.
this would be completely sort of coterminous with, it wouldn't change what we have. It just-
Absolutely not,
It just
no.
says we endorse. the
And that would be
bylaws.
written in. This is, yep.
Compliance with, by the landscape companies, much more homogeneous.
Yeah,
If
good
they know
point.
that.
The whole Westchester County.
Truth be told, right now, landscapers, right, this, at a minimum, this discussion, and again, this is just supporting it. The county then will probably debate it for some time, but it will bring the issue to the forefront. But yes, would be nice to have some kind of county.
No, I think Trustee Knapp has put her finger right on it, which is, you know, this board heard just an outstanding presentation from our Green Committee about how incredibly damaging and high the decibel levels are from gas blowers. I mean, it's almost a human rights issue that these poor, you know, workers for landscape companies are even, you know, doing gas blowing at all at any time. And I think that this helps to send a message to landscape gardeners that the writing is on the wall to move to other technologies, make the investment in electrical blowers, because I personally think that one day gas blowers are going to be banned. I don't think it's going to happen next month or next week, but this is where we should all be trying to move. And I think it sends a message, and it'll ultimately encourage landscapers to make the investment in new technologies, and we'll all be better off for it.
Would you like to move it?
I will move it.
All
Thank you.
right.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Trustees, Jim, do we miss anything?
That's it.
No? Then we are meeting on March 9th, which will be Trustee Behrens's last meeting. So,
Get some good stuff on the agenda.
Yeah.
Yes,
Make it-
yes.
Make it juicy.
Oh, it's all gonna be, it could be going on for hours. Sorry.
well, we have to do the
Sweet.
monument to Trustee Behrens, right? Isn't that on the agenda? Yeah. Oh, you will, well, I can't get sad yet, but you've been a wonderful colleague, and we'll celebrate you next month. All righty, then do I have a motion to adjourn? And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And we will see everyone on March the 9th.